4 packs of cigarettes that big. I mean, with your hand in a plastic bag, you just squeeze it and then take electrical tape and tape it up. Every morning for breakfast, everybody saves their butter. I said, get it how you live is what they say. I mean, even one of the head gang members for the Latin Kings, man, he was my next door neighbor. He's like, Richie, when I came in prison, he says, my first cell phone, I brought in myself. And I mean, he brought it in.
I want to focus on some stories that you kind of touched on a little bit yesterday. And I want to start with your time in prison. You talked about how you used to mule while you were in prison, how you used to smuggle the pack in, and you were the guy who could get it in. You know, would you tell us a little bit of what that experience was like, how it came about, and, you know, talk us through, like, that story, basically.
Okay. It just happened to be, I got put on a crew outside the gate, and, I mean, I knew that guys were bringing in cigarettes and drugs, cell phones. I mean, it was pretty much anything that you could get in, they'd bring it in. I was working on a crew doing concrete one day with one of the guys, and I noticed one of the guys picking up a cone with cartons of cigarettes in it. Well, the boss man, the CEO, standing there, and I was like, shoot, I didn't expect anything. I jumped out and grabbed the cone and just started tossing them up to him. And he came to me after the end of the day, and he was like, hey, man, he's like, you know what, you didn't have to do that, man. He tossed me a pack of cigarettes. He's like, here you go. That's $100. I mean, right there, paying canteen, paying $100 on your PayPal account. I mean, that's why everything's moving on PayPal, on paying Green Dots, all that stuff. What is the other one? Western Union. It's all virtual money, pretty much. They're just swapping numbers on little pieces of paper. And, well, I did that a couple of times, threw me a pack of cigarettes. Well, he got transferred to another squad. Well, that concrete squad, I became straw boss of. That right there was open. He said, Richie, listen. He said, man, I can't be out there anymore. He said, if you take care of me when you make these runs, he said, I pretty much told the whole compound, you're looking at 2,000 guys, you know, the gangs and all that, you're the guy to go to. No cigarettes come in unless they go through you, you know. So automatically off the rip, you know, you're paying 25% to the mules, you know, of the cigarettes, because they can bring in, most guys bring in 4 packs, you know, 240s is what they'll call it. But you can squeeze, dang man, a pack of cigarettes down to 4 packs of cigarettes that big. I mean, with your hand in a plastic bag, you just squeeze it and then take electrical tape and tape it up. Started, you know, doing that, and I mean, we were bringing in a day, because the bosses that actually were really easy. Charlotte County, it wasn't some hick guys from North Florida. These guys are all city guys. You had a few black dudes from down in the hood of Fort Myers. You had some normal, everyday blue collar working guys that were from Port Charlotte. And they just didn't really pay much attention to us, man. So we could get on the bus, and everybody, I mean, it's sort of funny, man. All the white guys brought in cigarettes. Well, I went a good 6 months before I ever brought a pack in. I was like, I'm not doing it. There's just no way I have, you know, I gotta stand my ground. Until the cigarettes started becoming mine, I kept giving 5 away for these guys to bring it in. So I went ahead and they use every morning for breakfast, everybody saves their butter. I said, get it how you live is what they say. I mean, even one of the head gang members for the Latin Kings, man, he was my next door neighbor. He's like, Richie, when I came in prison, he says, my first cell phone, I brought in myself. And I mean, he brought it in. He says, I keep a $100 bill. He says, I keep a couple bags of Tucci, which is K2, the spice. He says, on me at all times. I sleep with it in me every single night. Because if something pops off at the compound, they can ship me anytime, being the crown of the kings. He said, I got to have some bartering stuff to get, you know, when I get to the next camp, until my brothers all take care of me, you know. I've started doing that, and eventually, you know, once I got my cell phone, which is highly illegal, but, you know, you got a cell phone, which, if anybody's seeing this, cell phones in prison aren't used to try to plan escapes or nothing. It's to watch and contact your family on Facebook and post, you know. I mean, that's it, you know, and I could show you on my phone 5 or 6 of my friends that are in prison, and I keep in touch with them all the time. Once in a while, if they ask me, I'll go bring some cartons of cigarettes. They're $11. They bring the little brown cigarettes, the little cigar ones. That's what everybody's smoking nowadays. They don't want the regular cigarettes. $11 for a carton. They go for you got 10 packs, then $1,000 right there, man. Figuring for $11. So when I started having my people drop off cartons of cigarettes, it was $11.27. 50% of it was gone. 25% for the Latin Kings and the Zoes, and 25% for the mules. So, you know, I get 5 packs for, you know, my people pay $11. I'd make $500 in canteen and Green Dots and, you know, the PayPal. That's pretty much how that went in. I was also the pitcher man in VP, which had a big visitors park. Every Saturday and Sunday, I'd go down there and take pictures of the families and all that, which that way too, the guys would just go to the bathroom, slide things over to me. They never ever shook me down. I worked for the warden. I mean, I could carry a bazooka across the compound. They'd be like, "Where you going with that, Tucker?" I said, "I'm going to take it over to G-Dorm, sir, and I'll be right back. I'll make sure nobody shoots each other with it." And they wouldn't even pay any attention. I mean, it was lack of security, but the officers got treated worse than the inmates did. I mean, they was watching killers. I mean, this place was pretty bad. But as for bartering and stuff with the cigarettes, I would come back to my dorm and everybody would be running for the bathrooms to drop the cigarettes out of their ass. And there would be 200 people in a 80-person dorm. All the other gangs coming in to buy cigarettes to hurry up and get the packs, you know, with bags of canteen. And it was just almost scary because something that I said, guys with life sentences have nothing to lose. But then eventually I caught one of the guys that was staying up all the time. He was always awake. He lived right across from me. And I was like, "Man, what the hell you got going on?" He's like, "Tuck, man, come on." He's like, "Hey, I need somebody to pick up an 8-ball fucking meth for me." He said, "Man," he's like, "What do you charge me?" I said, "I want half, you know, that's going rate." He's like, "I can't do that." He's like, "How about I'll give you a gram of it." And he says, "If you run out, man, we'll freaking have another drop before that." So that was right then. From that point on, I think I had about a year and a half left of my time, and I got that first package. He gave me one little itty bitty piece about the size of my pinky nail. I ate it, walked out of prison, freaking full-fledged addict again. I stopped. One day I stopped using. That was the day before I got out, because my mom was picking me up. I got some sleep that night because I was not going to walk out of there tweaked out, you know, in front of my mom, who's waited 7 years for me to get out of prison. Traveled all over the state of Florida. Everywhere I went, she came to visit my dad, my son, my oldest, who they're taking care of. They stopped traveling the country to go take care of my house that is in my name, pay the mortgage payment, you know, doing their dream and touring the country to take care of my now, and he's going on 20, my son's going on 20, you know, take care of him while he was, so I watched my son grow up. I wish I had the pictures to show you. I probably can get them, but of the age of him growing up, you know, and I used to tell him, I said, "Man, you know, that guy over there, he's got 4 life sentences," you know, and he'd be packing phones. I mean, these guys can pack a cell phone in their ass, man. I mean, it's unbelievable. I got released on 420. I was jumping the fence right by the prison to go make a drop of 20 cell phones. They paid me $30 a phone. They paid for the phones on a Green Dot or PayPal card. I go to Walmarts all up and down the coast where I was at, buy up as many as I could get of the cheapest phones, and go drop them off. I got $30 a phone for each one. So, you know, you do the math. That was a nice lick.
You said that when you got released, are you saying on that same day that you got released?
The day after.
You were going right back to the prison?
I went right back to prison, walked right by the warden's house and dropped off cell phones with camouflage on.